now and then you play a video game that is literally on the cusp of greatness. It is just almost everything you want. Its art, phenomenal. Its animations, exciting. Its story, voice acted within an inch of perfection. And its mechanics just resonate with you to such a degree that you just get sucked in. But then on a technical level, it just lets itself down so hard. And it's honestly one of the reasons I like early access, because it gives developers a chance to create something magical. And they might miss the first hurdle, but they can build on it. And I'm so excited for the full release of this game. But this isn't the full release of the game. This is the game as it is that you have to pay for. And this is the game as it is that I have to critique. And to critique it, we're going to start, like I always do, with the settings menu. And to start off, it does start pretty strong. Camera shake options, really nice. Camera zoom options, again, really nice. Vibration amount, auto targeting of enemies, tick on and off. A number of interface options for if you don't like damage numbers or don't care. Or same with enemy health bars, poise bars, cinematic subtitling, tutorials on and off. All these things, really, really nice. And we go into the display and we again see some really nice options for full screen windowed and also full screen exclusive. VSync options, frame rate caps. It's hilarious that this can go up to 160 because you're never going to get there. Brightness options, contrast options, saturation options, UI brightness options. Really good set of options that separate from each other to help with your experience of our game. HDR options. We're going to skip graphics because this is where it falls so flat. But we're going to go into audio. And again, a really good set of options. You've got output type from home cinema and headphones. I actually should have it on headphones because that's what I'm using. Dialogue, sound effects, music. Overall, again, fantastic. We even got extras. Health warnings, privacy policies, all the sort of standard stuff. Really, really good. In the extras, there should be colorblind options because I cannot see some of the bars in the game. It really struggle with it. And the graphics options is where it falls flat though. DLSS coming soon. It's in early access. That's fine. Again, don't buy the game because it's going to have DLSS. Buy the game as it is now. Do not. MKBHD says it best, where you review a product that is now, you buy a product that is now, you do not buy a product with a promise of what it may become. Dynamic resolution, which I don't normally have turned on because I do not like it, but this is part of the issue with the frame rate of this game, and I've turned it on and set it to 60 FPS because I need to try and help the frame rate as much as I can, and the game really hampers you with its lack of settings to try and help with frame rate issues like it has right now, because its performance is not good at all. Frame rate independent motion blur, nice option to have, really good. Motion blur options, really good to have. Sharpening, rendering, scale, really nice again. But the only settings that we have to change the visual fidelity of the game are for quality settings. Best, quality, balanced, and performance. And they don't show you, as you're selecting them, what it's actually even changing. I've put it down to quality to try and help, but I don't know what that's changing. I am a big fan of texture quality. I will sacrifice a lot in the game for texture quality. I will sacrifice shadows and post effects and effects quality and particles for textures. But I have no idea what this is doing. And as a PC user, I'm used to having a vast variety of options to tailor my experience for my specific spec of PC. I've got a pretty good PC. But this game does not run well on it. It doesn't run well on a lot of computers. And this settings menu does not help with that fact. So it does fall down flat on that. So straight off the bat, we have two options. We have realms, and you can literally have different world files instead of save files. It's not a character, it's like a character for your world. And then from there, you also have you can have multiple characters inside a realm. So here's my guy. And you see his stats on the right hand side of the screen, his level at the top here. So we're just going to jump straight in. And there's a few issues I have with the game, including the frame rate. But we're going to get on to some of the movement animations, the interaction between your character and the world. And one of the things is, it seems like your character is a fully physics object inside the game, which leads to really, really cool interactions when you're playing the game. You're rolling and your movement and being able to interact with objects around the world, from climbing on top of walls and scrambling around. You really do feel grounded as part of an object inside the world. It's not just a set of animations. It's like, I can climb on this bit of geometry up here. And why is that? Because my character's a physics object. You can climb. If you can climb on something, you can climb on it. And that's really, really cool. But the issue has lied where the issue lands where the actual game itself someone needs to go over and look into how the player interacts with the objects in the world, because stuff like this happens all the time where you're meant to be able to slide to the item to the right and you just can't, and this happens quite frequently. Clipping through the floor happens frequently. I have won several fights. We're just gonna... Well, I meant to kill myself there, but hey-ho. Clipping through the floor happens quite frequently because of the way that... I think it's the way the interactions between your person and the physics and interacts with the world itself. And it leads to me not trusting in the movement of the character, from sort of not trusting that my jump is going to land properly, not trusting that the game is going to realize that I actually landed a jump. It might glitch out and fall through the floor, or in some cases, glitch out and land a jump I just should not have landed. And it does lead to issues. And then you have the general performance of the game, where I have had crashes of this game completely during boss fights. It's quite frustrating. And the performance of the game is choppy in town. I get about 70 FPS, and then I come out into the open world here, and I could be sitting at 50, like I am now, and then it could go down to 30 and high 20s during fights with enemies. And this is a Dark Souls style combat system here. And it is challenging. Enemies are very challenging in it. So when you are being hampered by the combat system, when you are being hampered by the performance of the game, making the game feel very, very choppy, it can be a big issue. So I know that is a bit of a downer to start a video on, but it has to be said from the output that if you're looking into this game, if you are excited for this game, give it a while to cook. Don't buy it on a promise of increased performance. Buy it when the performance is there. But we'll get on to the combat a little bit, as I have hit a little bit of combat here. It has your standard Dark Souls combat, but executed very, very well. And you can see the animations of the game here are really, really solid. The weight of your weapons feels, I would say, almost perfect. this audio design of the combat with the swish and the crackle of the effects on my weapons. Like, just from an audio standpoint, I know that this weapon I have has an ice effect on it because I can hear the ice on my weapon as I walk around, as I fight. And it's absolutely fantastic. The animations of your character for each individual weapon are so fluid and have a lot of weight to them to really make it where combat feels engaging. It's incredibly responsive in every button click really does start an animation almost immediately, but those animations also lock you in to that action where if I start an attack, I can't dodge and cancel the animation. You are locked in. So it is unforgiving in that way, but at the same time, because of that, every animation that not only your character but also enemies make. Oh, clicked the wrong button there. I was meant to parry. Really means something. That is not what I wanted to do. I did not want to eat an apple. Oh, we got a parry off there. Oh, we're gonna take a dodge roll. Hit him. We've got to be really careful because I just do not have. Oh, we killed each other. But as you could see there in that fight, the animations of the enemy, the telegraphing being just fantastic. Being able to read enemies' movements is really, really clean and very, very, very well done. And as we died here, let's talk about death, because I have referred to this game's combat as Dark Souls-esque, because it is. It's nice action-based combat with parrying and dodging. There's a various number of weapons in the game that change your animations and change your move sets in combat. But on death, not a lot happens, which is a good thing in my eyes, because it leads me to want to explore and not being punished for it. And the map of the world and the game itself, it's very Dark Souls 1-esque, where there's a massive amount of interconnecting pathways that lead to the world. Well, look, and there's fishing. Lead to the world feeling very interconnected. Like exploring and then saying, and then turning around to yourself and being like, oh, wait a minute, I'm here. One of my favorite things about Dark Souls 1. I think this game probably does the best implementation of an interconnected world that has been done since Dark Souls 1. I think it is absolutely phenomenal up to this point so far. Oh, we got another guy here. Ow, messed a parry up. Messed another one up. There we go. Nailed it. So we're going to fire off one of my abilities here. Boom. And the animation of that ability looks really cool. Like the way he throws the axe out. Oh, the hammer out. And the animation of the fire on the enemy itself. It looks absolutely phenomenal. And I think the artistic design of this game is second to none. From the cutscenes and the story, the voice acting, making the game and the story feel so engaging. I am massively intrigued by the lore of this world you've been put into. And I am very intrigued in the characters. And some of that is because the voice acting is so strong. And the animation and the quality of the cutscenes is so strong. It's just a shame that the performance lets down the act of playing it. Because everything in this game is really engaging and right up my alley. I see there, top of the screen, there was a graphical glitch there, and it's not unheard of. It is a pretty like standard thing for the amount of popping this game has.
The Risen have taken the old fortress.
Like walking along this bridge visually looks absolutely fantastic, but when you hit 30 FPS and it becomes incredibly jittery, we went down to 20 just then. It just really lets the game down. Like, this is just gorgeous. The artistic design of this game is phenomenal. So earlier we talked about death not leading to too much punishment, and that is true. Death doesn't lead to much punishment. The only thing that really it leads to really is durability loss, which is quite quick to fix. At the very beginning of the game, you save the life of a blacksmith, and that means he gives you free repairs at the first part of the game, and then when you get to town, it starts costing you a little bit of money. So the durability loss is not much. I could see it being an issue if you die quite a lot, but for me, it's been fine. It's been absolutely fine. And we talked a little bit about coming to a town, and this is that town. This is Sacrament. And in Sacrament, you have like a chest where you can put extra items. You can see there's lots of items in this game, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And there's you can sleep here and stuff like that because there's a day-night cycle. But when you die in a game like Dark Souls, what happens is all the enemies respawn as you sort of res at a bonfire. In this game, similar, where you res at what is called a whisper, but enemies won't respawn. But the enemies will respawn eventually. I'm struggling to figure out what is the trigger for the enemies to respawn. As you can see there is a teleport system from Sacrament to the last whisper you were at and back to Sacrament, but that is just to and from. It's not to multiple positions in the game so far anyway. So when it comes down to items in the game, I think so far the look of the items is a bit meh. I love the look of the hammer. For a game that's so graphically interesting to me, I do feel like the armor itself is a bit I don't know. It's not up my street at all. It looks too muddy to me. Later on in the game, I'm hoping to get something that really looks great, looks up my alley, looks like something I can be like, oh, look how cool this looks. I do really love the hammer, though. The hammer is not a weapon I would normally go for, but the ability of a fire throw is really cool. Very similar system to Dark Souls in regards to the weapons scale with specific stats, which you level up and apply to your character here. So you can see the pick I've got with a hammer is got attributes of strength and faith. So I put points in strength, and the damage of the weapon goes up just like Dark Souls. A very good system. It also has some quite interesting rarities of items like an ARPG and less like Dark Souls, where a lot of these items have statistics attached to them, like attack, steal, extra cold damage. So my item has that cold effect on it, which is very, very nice, but also focus on kill. Focus is the resource used to fire off your abilities. Health on parry, which I think is really nice. If you want to really go into that parry path, I do like a good parry. Having a benefit for it is also really nice. And then here you have on my shield, you have increased focus, increased stamina. Again, that really going into the parry kind of build where you get benefits for parrying. Poise defense increase, reflect damage after taking, which is a little bit nice. But then the detriment on the statistics is like, look, this gear is really, really nice, but you're going to have a debuff, which is gold loss from death, which then leads to other things in the game. So it's nice to have that to and fro when you start getting really good gear, like this ring here that gives me health on damage. It also says, yeah, but you're not going to have as much health to deal with situations. So it's nice to have gear with have those choices on them. I think the gearing system is really, really in-depth and really nice there.
May your will be half as strong as my work.
I think the gearing system is really, really great and has a good amount of depth to you farming items and stuff like that and creating some sort of build a little bit more like an ARPG than a normal sort of action game like Dark Souls. I think if, for me, for instance, I'm focused on parrying, getting life back, building up my focus, then firing out my abilities. But the quality of life in the game is still lacking in some areas. So you can't compare two items. If I wanted to compare these trousers on the left here with the trousers in my inventory, I literally on my character, sorry, I literally have to go over hot swap between the two items like this, and it's incredibly annoying. So it needs to have some sort of compare feature. There's also a thing where I can't mark stuff as junk and then just sell junk, all the junk in my inventory. I feel like that is a must these days. I think one of the major things for the game, though, is the fact that when your weapons do have skills on it, like this hammer I have, which has fire throw, you can't... I'm going to switch over to keyboard and mouse here for a second. I don't know what this does. I don't know what this item is actually doing here. I can't hover over fire throw to see what that will actually do in game. So I don't know what it does until I do it. And for me, when I'm looking over gear and with limited inventory space and stuff like that, I'm having to make a decision on the fly about, do I want piercing dash here or do I want fire throw? I need to have the information to make an informed decision, and not being able to see what these abilities do on the weapons means I can't make that informed decision. The shield smash there, I can kind of infer that it means poise damage or a shield bash, but at the same time, I actually don't know what that shield bash icon next to the attack damage is going to do. I can try and guess, but I'm not sure. So I do think the information it gives the character, or the player, sorry, needs to be enhanced. Definitely enhanced. There's also another thing in the game that is very odd in a single player / co-op game, and I don't think it fits in at all. And that is, you can upgrade this town with resources. You can go out and farm wood, you can go out and farm iron, and that links in with the map system, which is absolutely phenomenal. But when you come back to Danos in town, one of the things is, which is it's just so unusual to me, when you make a project and assign the resources to do the project, it'll take real life time to finish the project. Why? I was sat here one evening and I went out and I got, I think it was for Caroline's Inn. I got a quest to help Caroline rebuild her inn. So I went out and I farmed the mats needed to rebuild the inn, and I came back here and it took time to build it. And I was like, well, I'm not going to wait around. I'm just going to go to bed. I want to be able to engage with the system immediately. It's a single player game and there's no need. I'm not playing like Clash of Clans. This is a system that needs to be able to just instantly build the buildings. I can't think of a good reason why I would need to sit here and wait 4 hours before being able to build a level 3 alchemy stand. Like, if let's say I was just about to go into a boss fight and I was like, I've got the mats to upgrade the alchemy stand. Go in, build the alchemy stand, then use the alchemy stand to get myself better potions and stuff to then go into that boss fight. But I can't. I've got to wait 4 hours. And it's really frustrating about why this was even a design decision. It's very, very bizarre to me. But on to what makes this game absolutely fantastic. We've talked about the animations and the art style, the combat, the feeling of weight that each swing of your weapons have, with the immense audio design the game has, the story and the lore of this world that feels engaging, and linking in with some fantastic cutscenes and voice acting, all being sort of A tier, absolutely A tier. But then you also look at things like the systems in the game. This map system is also absolutely A tier. I can turn around to this map system. It follows sort of a hybrid system of a normal RPG map. You can see you got your vendors here throughout the city of Sacrament. But you can also do a Breath of the Wild style system and put down an icon. And then in-game, that icon will be on the screen. And it's absolutely brilliant. I adore this. It's the fact my icon is in the world, and I don't have to really look up a map. I can just see it on the screen. It's not on a compass or anything like that. It is physically in my world, and I think that is absolutely fantastic. It's something that I was like, I love this map system. I love what Breath of the Wild did, and this is just the next level of progression from it. And I love being able to find areas on the map and saying, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, right, so there's a mat here and a tree here and a difficult boss here. And then those, I'm like constructing the map as I go through the game. And it adds that level of, this is my game, this is my world, this is my map. And I absolutely love the implementation of it in this area. Also, the fact that the level, because this game has a lot of verticality to it. There's some really good little design decisions as well as the missing QL though, and I wanted to just highlight a few of them because it really shows that some of the things the developers are doing, sort of, they know what they're trying to do. Like, if we go into our inventory, it's the fact that your tools to cut down wood and harvest iron veins don't cost any weight. It's things like that are really excellent design decisions. You can see in some games, like, coins weigh something, and it's like, why? Why am I being penalized to carry around currency that is needed for the game? And it's like, a major part of this game is farming mats to upgrade your town, and the fact that you're not penalized for carrying around, or penalized in combat for carrying around these tools is like a really nice little design decision here. So this is No Rest for the Wicked. I think an absolutely phenomenal start to a game that is heavily plagued by performance issues, and when/if they can get those performance issues fixed, I'll be jumping into this game and going from start to finish, and really looking forward to the end result, really, because this is a world that I am completely enamored with due to just how phenomenal the sort of aesthetic of the game is, and the voice acting is a very strong start to what I'm hoping is going to be an absolutely incredible finished product. There we go. Oh, I landed that parry perfectly, and now I just missed everything. It's a good thing I've got damage reflection on, isn't it? Because apparently I really need it. But yeah, this has been No Rest for the Wicked, guys. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, please hit that like and subscribe button. And I'll see you next time for my next video. Ooh, crab chowder.